you really afford to have at risk on each trade? Not how much can you lose on each trade, but how much do you feel comfortable losing? How much, if you see you open up your profit loss for the day and it's down 1,000, what does that do to your psyche? What does that do to your mindset? Once you learn how to measure your risk and know where you're comfortable, you can manage it. But when you're taking on too much risk, you're trading more than your account size can handle, or you're trading the right size, but your mind can handle putting out this much risk, then you're allowing that inner madman out. So basically, for every trade, you have to ask yourself, what is the risk of this trade? Where is this trade no longer working? What is the point where, you know what, I was buying an uptrend, and when it went against me so many pips or so many through this pattern, it's no longer uptrend, get me out of the trade. And then secondly, what is the reward of this trade? The risk to reward ratio. Once I get in here, I want to get out there. As I said earlier, if my target is 50 pips away, then how much am I willing to risk to earn 50 pips? That's your risk to reward ratio. And so many people have it negative. They're upside down, like mortgages or like car notes. They owe more than what the car's worth. You're risking more than what the target is for that trade. You've got to know these things before you execute a trade. And so many people, again, they're just looking for setups. They're just looking for ways to get into the market, that they're not realizing that the management, the money, the financial numbers of the trading is not working, and that's why you're not successful. Which leads us to the most common trading errors I see out there. Trading without a plan. We mentioned that. Taking on too large a position for their account size, experience level, or risk comfort. So many traders I see, especially in the Forex, in futures, and sometimes in Forex, they're all in. There's no scaling in. There's no position sizing. It's just all in. And then, so when you wipe out account, it's because you're all in. Too much risk at one point in time. Not prepared for a string of losses. We'll talk about more about positive expectancy as we go along. But you lose once, you lose twice, and then your mind starts talking to yourself. Oh man, here's a chart pattern I see, but I lost the last 2 times. And then you don't pull the trigger, and of course that's the home run. Lack of discipline, impatient chasing the market. Oh man, I missed it last time. I missed 2. I lost on 2. I missed it. This one, it's 4. I'm in. I'm in. Or not following your rules. I'm supposed to get out here. This is where I said my risk was. This is where I said the trade's no longer working. But I'm just going to hold on. I'm going to make an adjustment. And those adjustments usually are based on emotions and not upon facts, not upon the data that you see in front of you. And I can tell you, you rarely ever make any money when you make emotional decisions. So the first step to overcoming our fears is developing a trader's mindset through a documented trading plan. And that's a key thing there, and we'll talk more about it. But it's not just having a trading plan, but you got to document it. You've got to know the numbers. But even when you have a trading plan and you don't have just setups, but you actually have a plan, you still have fears. We all have fears. And anybody tells you they don't have any emotions about trading, they're lying. But what that doesn't mean is that we can't get over those fears. So right here, I have the first 4 of those fears of trading. First one is fear of uncertainty. That usually brings about hesitation, and it's, okay, you see the trade starting to set up, you start to notice the pattern, the indicators, whatever it is that you're trading set up, and boom, the signal comes off, and you hesitate. And so many symbols, especially when you're trading a day trader or a micro trader, you don't get second entries. You have to trade it right, or you're not going to get to trade it at all. And so that uncertainty, because you haven't documented, you haven't developed positive expectancy, you hesitate and you don't take the trade. What about fear of loss and that you can't pull the trigger? The last time I followed this setup, I took a loss. I don't want to take another one. You haven't documented your trading plan, so you don't have positive expectancy, so you don't know that over time this is going to work out, and so you don't pull the trigger. And the impulse trading, that's fear of missing out. Oh man, last time I didn't get filled, so I'm gonna put this in a little bit early because I want to make sure I get filled. And because the pattern never develops, you never get confirmation, and then boom, wipe out. because you jumped in instead of waiting for that final confirmation. What about urgency? You know what? Revenge trading. How many times have you taken a loss and you just got right back in the market because you wanted to make that money back, or you needed to make that money back because you're trading too much and you need that money back, or you won't have any money the next day? These are some. These are the four big ones. We got five more to go, but be honest. Where are you at on this? Which ones really affect your trading? And again, I've said it a moment ago, and I'm going to continue to say it. The biggest thing I can tell you to really overcome these fears is documentation. If you've documented and you know your numbers, when I trade this trading setup, 70% of the time I'm going to work out, then it can help you overcome all of this. You've got rules, you've got statistics that let you know that your rules work, and then therefore you can work. But how many people back test? How many people paper trade, virtual trade? How many people document their trading? Not just I know how much money I make, but you know your percentages, and you know at this time of the day